Hey gang, Rodin here. Welcome on back to the Retrocade, and welcome to what may very well be our final episode of this playthrough and our visit of Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake from 1990 as part of the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Subsistence Special Edition for PlayStation 2. So, where we left you in the last episode is we have managed to get through all three fortresses, and now that all that is standing between us and the end of the game is that big white blinky thing you see in the middle of the upper part of the tactical screen on the right side. That is Metal Gear. Now, what we've got to do in this episode is we've obviously got to take it out and then deal with Gray Fox, and after that, I can only presume Big Boss, since he was mentioned at the early part of this game. But to get past Metal Gear, what we need to be able to do is we need to use our grenades and blow its legs up. That is easier said than done, because unlike in the original Metal Gear, this one moves and it packs a punch. Specifically, it has a massive Vulcan minigun that it can shoot 360 degrees at us, and it also has heat-seeking missiles that can do a ton of damage. The Vulcan cannon can be offset by having our body armor, of course. The heat-seeking missiles cannot. How we can best avoid that, though, is going through this door when they launch, coming back through, and then avoiding the impact and continuing to attack until Metal Gear is gone. So, it's not an impossible fight, it's just tedious and annoying, as all great boss fights tend to be. So, that said, let's get this puppy underway. And as you can see, he's a big fella. I'm not the same as I used to be, and neither is Metal Gear. I'll show you what fear really is. Prepare to taste defeat. There's the missiles. We come back out the door. On as many as we can. Wait for the missiles to launch. Once already. But now, as you can see, we are on fire. And Gray Fox is still very much alive. He's got the cartridge we need. And we're going to need a call from Roy Campbell in a second telling us that because our gear is on fire, we got to get rid of it as soon as we can. Now, I ditched all of our equipment twice in the previous attempt to record this, and I still died. I'm really hoping it's not a bug in the game, because if it's a bug in the game, then we can't finish it. I have a theory on what might have been holding us up and keeping us from doing that, but we'll see once we get this done. So, he runs away. Your items are on fire. Throw away all your weapons and equipment quickly. Use the O button. We've got to get rid of our rations last. We're still on fire. And now we've been put out. So, okay. So here's what I suspect caused the problem. In my weapons console, along with all the stuff that I had, my guns, my missiles, my landmines, my grenades, all of that, You remember at one point, as I was going through the lab, I picked up what were called mice, or the mouse. And it's basically a standard computer keyboard mouse. I hadn't gotten rid of them all yet, and I had like 15 of them. And how you get rid of them is you have to dispatch them one at a time using the square button. Because I never used them, and because I couldn't drop them, they stayed in my inventory, and I stayed on fire and died twice. So, if you ever choose to play this game, before you get to this point in it, if you went through and picked up the mice, get rid of them all. And it'll be a slightly tedious thing, but it'll be worth it because that will allow you to be able to get to here. So now, as you see on the left, we have to go through this door, and all those dots around that wall are landmines, which means we are about to get into a final showdown with Gray Fox. Perfect ring for our final battle. Now, we cannot go near the wall. And what we have to do is avoid getting beaten up to death by Gray Fox. He's got a couple of patterns by which he will attack us, and we just have to get out of his way and hit him best we can as we go. We have no weapons, no armor, no rations. So it is strictly mano a mano. I'll beat some sense back into you. It's time for you to learn why they call me Fox. Gray Fox, real name Frank Yeager, former member of Foxhound. He was the last man to hold the title of Fox in the Big Boss era, decorated 5 times. Yeah, I know how good he is. Better than anyone else. I fought with him. He's a cold-blooded hunter. He never lets his prey escape. Everybody in the unit respected and looked up to him. That may be, Snake, but you know about his past, that might help you out. 10 years ago, he was in the mercenary trade, and they knew him as Hunter. That's what Jaeger means in German. Does that sound familiar? Because we just talked to somebody who died at a bridge not too long ago, who was romantically linked to a guy named Frank Hunter, also known as Frank Yeager. Gray Fox killed his ex-girlfriend. Back then, he was involved with some woman from the Eastern Bloc. He tried to get her to come over through the fence, but it all fell through. Apparently, the West wasn't interested in taking her. That's when Frank started to hate politicos. What was the woman's name? It was the Olympic skater. Her name was Gustava Hefner. Fine woman, movie star type. Managed to beat Fox, I'll tell everyone that Solid Snake's the greatest mercenary in the world. Over and out. Nope, I want to get back to this. There we go. Getting good hits in, that's for sure. I'm more than happy to let him move around me. This is a boxing technique called corralling, or essentially called ring generalship. You apply pressure by making somebody else get around you, and with that, Frank Yeager, aka Gray Fox, is down. It's finally time for me to give up the title of Fox, and man, did I bloody him up good. Not like you, Snake. My situation is more complicated. Big Boss might have just been another CO to you, but he saved my life twice. This is way before he joined the unit. First time I was a half-white living in Vietnam. It was after the war, and the half-whites were being sent into forced labor camps. He saved me from that living hell, just like he saved all the children here. Second time I was in Mozambique. I was being tortured by a Renamo soldier, and he saved me again. He cut off my ears and my nose. He's got a nose. And this is your idea of paying him back? No, you got it wrong. I hate war, just like all the kids here, but I need it. War's all we know. We can't make it in the normal world. We need a battlefield to survive. Big Boss gives us a place to fight conflicts in our blood. We can't deny it. I was born on the battlefield. I'll die on the battlefield. All I can do is fight, Snake. All I can do is fight. Making people happy, making a woman happy, something I could never do. Rest easy, Fox. I swear I won't turn out like you. Won't turn out like me. I'll have to remember that. Don't let your fans down. My fans? Call it payback for being so selfish. See you on the other side, Snake. White Fox is down. Or so it may seem. So now that we have gotten through this, we're 10 minutes in, and we've got one more fight to go. We go through this door, and there is Big Boss. I knew you'd come back to me. I can't get rid of the nightmares I've been having for the past 3 years. The nightmares, they never go away, Snake. Once you've been on the battlefield, tasting the acceleration, the tension, it all becomes part of you. Never sleeps again. Crave even bigger tensions, even ever bigger thrills. And as a mercenary, I think you would have realized that by now. You care nothing for power or money or even sex. Thanks, Hideo. That's subtle. The only thing that satisfies your cravings is war. All I've done is give you a place to live. I've given you a reason to live. I never would have made you for such a hypocrite, Big Boss. You saw those children, didn't you? Every one of them is a victim of a war somewhere in the world, and they will find soldiers in the next war. The one thing I don't like about this game is that the carryover to the next frame is usually always one word. Starting a war, fan the slaves, create victims, then save them, train them, and feed them back into the battlefield. Perfectly logical system in this world of ours. Conflict never ends, and neither does our purpose or race on day. So there's plenty of job opportunities. Is that what you're trying to say? On the battlefield, you and I are valuable commodities, but back home, we're nothing but dead weight. We're lucky we might be able to get the attention of some 2-bit drones from a cheap tabloid. You and I are doomed to remain here until we die like dogs on the battlefield. I only got one fight left, and that's to free myself from your grip. To rid myself of these nightmares, Big Boss, I will defeat you. Okay, so get a quick drink here before we get ready. Very well, Snake. I will release you from your suffering as your former commander. I'll do you one last favor and put you out of your misery. How do you expect you to beat me in your condition with no weapon? Never give up. Fight till the end. Always believe you will succeed even when the odds are against you. Those are your words. Even I make mistakes from time to time. So here we go. What did I pick up? I picked up card 1. Whoop, I don't want to go in there. That's acid. So it looks like I need to come around and pick up as much stuff as I can. Whoop. Okay, I can't get in that door. Can't get in that door. Pick up that ration. Picked up card 2. 3. Rather card 6. Okay. Okay, so card 6. On the screen. Okay, so I've gotten. Okay, so I need to get the other card. So I wonder if this will let me. Where the heck do I go? Other than here. Stay away from that acid pool. That one's okay. On the screen you'll see door, interactions. Okay, still avoid the acid pools. So I've got vents. Okay, I am right to the next screen, avoid the acid pool, grab the rations, head to the next screen, grab the ration, head left, you see a door to the north part of the screen with 2 doors. Hit the card B6, extra room, head left, put the rations, head down, head right on the screen, use. Okay, so I think what it is. Get rid of the acid, head right on this screen, and then find ID card 1. Exit the room and head to the other side of the complex. Oh, and of course now is the perfect time for me to get a little bit of lag. That doesn't open a door. There's no door over here. There's gotta be another door. there's a card key right there that I need to be able to get to. But I'll be damned if I can get to it. Because none of the doors will open a key. So use it to enter on the northeast side of the complex, which I did. Now, all the way under here, I'm in that red dot in the middle, but I can't go anywhere. Huh. It said this is where I'm supposed to go to be able to get that key. Oh, under the vent, grab ID card 3 and exit the room. Enter the room on the northeast side of the complex. Grab, okay. Head to the northwest side. Of course they have to make this so blasted confusing. There's card 3. Yep, that one doesn't work. That one doesn't work. Picked up card 4. Okay, Big Boss is coming around that way. Pick up the lighter. Now I gotta go get that card up top. Alright, Big Boss, come on. Okay, now we got all 6 cards. Now I'm only assuming that what I'll be able to do is go get what's in here, which I believe is hairspray. Picked up the spray. And now he's got a machine gun. We've got a flame. Oh, and we can go over the top of the containers. I didn't realize that. Okay, now we're just gonna nuke the site from orbit. Alright, he's almost gone. Now he's running away. And he has been immolated. It's not over yet. You you've been torched to a crisp, man. It's over. Kaboom. Out this door. Freeze? Oh, it's Holly, okay. So I did. That uniform was too tight in the chest. I feel much better now. Man, the double entendre is so thick you can cut it with a spork. I have one more job to do. You can't be serious. I'm dead serious. Don't call me Shirley. Want me to call you a cab? I've got the cartridge. I'm ready to return to base, making my way to the rendezvous point now. Roger that. I'll meet you there. Any passengers? Just one blonde with a cute face. Sounds like a dream. Over and out. Dave Johnson. Sign checks to cash. We gotta run as fast as we can to the rendezvous point so you can keep up. Three guards here. Whoa, watch the trap. Ration. Keep running. Little tripwire. What the hell's taking you so long? We're gonna be here until Christmas. It's Charlie and 10 kilometers out from the rendezvous point. Hold on a bit longer. Over and out. Hurry it up. Whoa! And I went right down a pit trap. Because of course there was a pit trap there. Alright. Hopefully, now that I've dispatched Big Boss, we don't have to take him out again. Okay, instead we have this cutscene to do really quick. And because we are at the end of this, we're just going to go until it's over. Because we're 28 minutes and change. Okay, so now we have the gun. Keep on running. Unfortunately, we've got unlimited ammo at this point. Moving, get past the wires. be all of them. There's nowhere else for us to go. Okay, now I guess we're in a holding pattern here. We've got infinite ammo. Okay, so 3 guards. Fire you're gonna get, and Snake will say it's out of ammo. There we go. So I had infinite ammo until the plot dictated I don't. Now the guards show up. They get turned into mincemeat as the chopper and the cavalry have arrived. Charlie, you're late. Sorry, man. Don't want to disturb you two lovebirds. Think we'll be home in time for Christmas? Be home in time for dinner. Okay. I'm sick of these rations. Yeah, I bet you are. We fade to black. We get a cutscene of the chopper taking off. That's a big whirly bird. As we fly off into the sunset. And it took 11 episodes, but that, everybody, is Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake for the MSX, later ported to the PS2 in 2006. So, here's the point where I need to give you what I like and didn't like about the game. The one thing I did like about it is that Hideo Kojima did not try to just recreate what he did with the original Metal Gear. He dared to be different. And a lot of times that obviously divides the crowd. As I said previously, you know, a lot of people don't like Zelda 2 as opposed to the original Legend of Zelda for that very reason. They were too different. Same thing goes for Castlevania. Castlevania 2 is drastically different than Castlevania 1 and Castlevania 3. I personally happen to like Castlevania 2. It's my favorite one of the series. And it's also a precursor to what we got in Symphony of the Night 20 years down the road. There's nothing wrong with being different. It just depends on how far afield you get from your original idea. It's the same reason why people thought that, you know, Super Mario Brothers 2, the original Super Mario Brothers 2, was considered too hard for North American audiences, which is why we got a revamped version of another game with Mario sprites called Super Mario 2. I happen to like that game, but then Super Mario 3 is nothing like 1 or 2. So I like that. If there's a definite thing I don't like about this game, and it was very obvious in that end fight with both Gray Fox and Big Boss, if you don't have everything exactly buttoned up the way you need it to, and you're not paying attention to every nook and cranny, those last fights drag out a lot longer than they need to. Again, I had recorded an Ultimate episode for this previously and then had to erase it after 2 separate attempts simply because I didn't get rid of one piece of equipment that I didn't realize I needed to get rid of at any point during the game. And because I kept it in my inventory, it kept me from being able to move forward because I kept dying. That's really annoying. So, you know, on the whole, is it the best of the bunch? I can't conclusively say it is. Again, my favorite one is still Metal Gear Solid 1, followed very, very closely by Metal Gear Solid 3, which again, I'm really glad to hear that is getting a full PS5 remake. I'm looking forward to that. And that the original trilogy of Metal Gear Solid is being issued later on this year by Konami. I know there's a bit of controversy around that since it was announced, but I'll let people well above my pay grade sort that out. But this is a game that I like to go back and visit every couple of years, along with the rest of the franchise. And because this is one of my favorite series of all time, now that I've played both Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2, it gives me the opportunity further down the line on this channel to do a revisit of Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Solid 3. So, let's see if we get an actual end scene here, as is Hideo Kojima's want. Good work, Snake. Have you thought about coming back to the unit? The nightmares are stopped. I'm a free man now. I see, that's too bad. By the way, about that cartridge, is it really the one Dr. Marv had his plans hid his plans in? Why don't we open it and find out? No need for that. The cartridge I bought back is Dr. Marv's. No question about it. Just put it in the MSX. Alright, here goes. Nothing's happening. Snake was right. There's no doubt about it. It was Dr. Marv's cartridge. What are you talking about? I don't see anything. Here, look closer. Dr. Marv left his signature on it. Right here it says Keo Marv. Which, if you look at it in terms of bytes, it's backwards. This is going to do the world a lot of good. Dr. Marv's last performance. He really loved games, didn't he? From the bottom of his heart. Dr. Marv was entangled in a pointless political game, but the game he left behind will save us all, right, Snake? Snake? Where'd he go? Snake's gone. Snake? Where's he off to now? He promised to take me out to dinner. How low can you get? And now, along with the end of game technical stuff, we get the cast of characters who made up the game. A couple of whom we didn't even see. So we have Roy Campbell, we have Mark White. George Kessler, who we only saw at the very end. Drago Petrovich Madnar, who ended up turning it into one of the big baddies in the game. Johan Jacobson, who we only brought in to catch a carrier pigeon. Master Miller, who keep an eye on him. We will see him again in Metal Gear Solid. Dr. Keo Marv, who did not last through the game. Gray Fox, Frank Yeager, who we will also see again in one form or another, not to spoil things too much. Gustava Hefner, who did not make it past the midpoint in the game, or at least the three-quarter pole, I would say. He was in it for a brief amount of time. Big Boss, who runs through this series like a skein of rock. Even the Hind D gets a good old cast note. Metal Gear D. And our boy, Solid Snake. Now let's see if this brings us back to the screen or not. So we got our final score, difficulty original. Took us about 6 hours, 20 minutes to play it over 11 episodes. Saved 5 times. We had 16 continues. We were in alert mode 138 times. We killed 387 people. We used 24 rations. We didn't use a special item. And our code name for this is Zebra. And I suspect it's because we hit alert mode over 130 times. Stealth was definitely not on my side in this game. But if you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have, best way you can show it is to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. It is going to be a little while before we do another playthrough. I've got to do some thinking about which game I'm going to do next. I obviously have some ideas, but I also like to try and stagger it between like fantasy games and action-based games like this. I don't want to just roll them out one after another. I like to have some variety. And also, I want to get your guys' input. So obviously the way you can do that is either leave me a comment here on the channel or following us on Instagram at Ronin's Retrocade. Again, I want to build this community up where I have that dialogue working with you guys where I can put together content that is to your liking, that is of interest to you, because that is ultimately what is going to drive this channel going forward. So please be willing to give me your input on it, good, bad, otherwise, but most importantly, if there's a game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, SNK Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below. And again, it can be any game from those systems that you want. The thesis behind this channel, our mission statement, is to celebrate the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation, this great golden era of video games that we got following the crash of 1983 all the way through into the early 20th century. And there's so many great games that we can try out, highlight, profile, do a deep dive on. And that's what ultimately I want to be able to do both as a content creator and as a video game fan. So give me your input on that. Let me know what games you would like to see. It can be any genre. As long as it's something that does not give me reason to get on the bad side of YouTube in terms of content creation, I think we'll be okay, because there's nothing outwardly egregious on any of those systems. Otherwise, we would have known about it for a long time. So, in the meantime, be sure to check out Sports Saturday and Suckerpunch Sunday coming up this weekend, where we'll play a classic sports and fighting platform-based game. Again, from the golden era from 1983 to 2010. And as always, my name is Ronin. It's been great to do this playthrough with you. Hope you've enjoyed it. In the meanwhile, be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye.